Greetings, Commanders, and welcome to 3312. My name is Phil, I'm a community manager here at Frontier, and I'm super excited to share with you what we've got coming up. So we're starting the year with a packed update, an introduction to the next new ship, fresh details on colonization, and brand new insights into operations. Let's see what the Galaxy has in store for this year. We know that everyone's here to find out what we've got coming in 2026. Let's have a quick recap on 2025 first, shall we? So, what was your favourite feature of 2025?
Oh, without a shadow of doubt, it was during Trailblazers. I've been wanting to do something like System Colonisation within Elite for quite some time. You know, real big desire to give the keys to the game to the players, to let them go out and tell their stories and change the galaxy, leave their own narrative scars across the systems. So, yeah, to be able to finally launch that and then watch people engage in it, it's just incredible. I really enjoyed that.
The one I really preferred was Vanguard, was Squadrons, because I'm really happy to see the team re-engage with that feature, because it was a bit of an older feature. And now seeing what players do with it, it's really, really good. We've got a lot of active players there. It's growing every week, which is awesome. There's a lot of focus on mentoring as well, which is great to see. The bank system is great as well. It's used for colonization quite a lot. So yeah, really, really good stuff.
Great stuff. And we released a number of new ships in 2025. Which ones were your favourites?
Oh, we did. We had some good ships out there. I'm going to plump for the Panther Clipper Mk II. You know, and let's be honest, people have been waiting for this ship for absolutely ever. Chris and the art team did a really good job on it. I think they really, really delivered on a massive ship that's capable of hauling almost anything, and it just looks awesome. It's a great ship.
I'm an ALD commander, so I'm going to go for Corsair. That's clearly my favourite. Sleek look, really good, packs a punch, really like it, flies well as well.
So that's 2025. I know everyone's excited to know what's coming in 2026. Much like last year with our roadmap, we split it out into phases, and we've done the same thing this year. So Gautier, why don't you kick us off with phase one?
I'm very happy to announce that phase one in February is going to be us releasing Kestrel Mk II, so a new vessel, completely combat-oriented. Sure the team will talk about it a bit later. Very excited about this ship. I love my dogfighters. So yeah, it's a ship coming from an older Frontier game as well. So I'm very happy that we can give it another go, essentially. So yeah, quite excited about this. Yeah.
It's a really nimble combat ship. It's trying to rebalance the game a little bit and bring the small fighter vessels and give small ships a real meaningful purpose in the game going forward. So yeah, very excited for the Kestrel.
Let's move straight on to phase two. What have we got expected?
Yeah, so I don't want to steal some of the thunder that's coming later on. So we've got some members of the team, including Curtis, there to talk about operations. So a little bit delayed from last year, but we're really trying to get the content correct on this. So operations itself for us is as much as a deployment platform for content as anything. So when we release operations in April, that will have a suite of missions of operations to undertake. But that's really the start of the journey. What we're looking to do is then add operations and new missions as we go into the year. Ultimately, they are multiplayer environments. So the idea is to bring people together, maybe from their squadrons, to get them play together and take on extended missions that might involve space and ground or just ground. We can mix and match things and create a longer play experience. But we're being really mindful of players' times on this. As we've spoken before, part of the mechanism for operations is to allow people from different regions in the game space to get together quickly and to undertake operations as a combat unit.
So the first half of the year is looking really strong. What can you tell us about the second half?
Well, in the second half of the year, we're going to be releasing a number of vessels at a regular cadence, quite a number of them. And the team will be looking at a core system of the game, which is impacting many aspects of the game itself. I'm really excited about this one, I will say. It's been in my books for a while. We're currently figuring out how deep we want to go and how to fix things the best way, and the most appropriate way. Trying to see a little bit what players have been doing with that system for a while. So yeah, hopefully we're going to have more to say about that in the year. But yeah, this one is it's a favourite.
Yeah, it's a sort of it's deeply situated within the actual core of Elite, and I think we've been looking at it for quite some time and just thinking this needs a bit of TLC. So we're going to go back and have a look at that, and there'll probably be some new features built on around it, which would be very cool. And then beyond that, obviously we've got some story that we're building up already. There's a lot of mysteries going on. That's going to ramp across the year. So again, I'm Can't tell people anything, spoilers, but yeah, we'll be building our narrative through all of these phases, maybe with a bigger punch at the end of the year. Let's see how it pans out.
So I think you'll all agree that 2026 is looking super exciting for Elite Dangerous. Now let's take a look at the first ship coming this year, the Kestrel Mk II. So we've already had a quick look at the Kestrel Mk II. Now it's time to take a deeper dive. Can you tell us what your inspiration was when designing it?
Well, with the Kestrel Mk II, we've had a look at the other existing core ships in the game, such as the Vulture and the Eagle. We've also looked at a lot of the modern military aircraft as well, and we've sort of tried to come up with a design that takes aspects from both.
So that was one of the hurdles we had, so to say, was basically how do we design a ship inspired by this kind of aircraft so that it looks like it's not out of place when it's in space. So that was quite an interesting challenge for us and for our director, Chris, but I think we came up with a really nice final result.
The ship looks absolutely great. One thing that stands out is the large thrusters. Can you tell us a little bit more about the design process behind those?
Chris designed the Kestrel. He put those large thrusters on the wings, and they give the impression of the mobility of the craft. It's obviously highly maneuverable, and we've added some animation to those. So the actual thrusters themselves gimbal as the ship rotates and pitches. The thrusters themselves move a little bit to give some subtle animation, and it sort of gives a nice bit of life to the craft as well, makes it look a bit more alive.
Yeah, because it's really important for us, since one of the unique selling points of the Kestrel Mk II was its hypermobility. It's not just like how fast can the ship go, but also make it look like it can go fast. And so basically when we saw the thrusters, we were like, yeah, we have to make them big so that when a player sees them, he's like, yeah, that's a fast ship, because it's really important for us to have a good feedback loop for the player with the way the ship looks and what the ship is supposed to do.
So we learned about the artistic design of the Kestrel Mk II. Now it's time to go a bit more in depth into the internals. I'm joined on the sofa by Curtis and Michael. So can you tell me a bit about the manufacture of the Kestrel Mk II?
Yes, so Kestrel Mk II is made by Dynamics, obviously known for the Eagle, the Vulture, and all the Federal ships. And we went with them because this is obviously a small, fast, nimble ship, and it seems like the sort of this type of ship that you'd come up with if you'd worked on something like the Eagle and the Vulture.
It's a good way for the company to compete as well with other small combat ships. This is their answer to all the others.
So what kind of players do you think will interact with the Kestrel Mk II, and what do you think they'll love about it?
So I'd say the type of players that interact with the ship is the type of players that are sort of looking for something that's really, really nimble and fast. And I think that's what they're going to really love about it. One of the things I like about it is when I first discovered Elite, one of the cinematics I saw, there's a moment when a Cobra does a 180 spin and fires at the pursuing ships, and then does a 180 spin back, and the Kestrel is probably the ship that's closest to being able to really pull that off in game. Yeah, and we've also given it a good amount of firepower as well to sort of compete with the larger ships. So it's sort of, even though it's not as strong, so it's not got as high shields or armor as like your mediums and your large ships, it packs a lot of firepower on such a small frame. One of the new modules that we've got for is we've got a Mk II weapon that's going to come with it, and it's based off of the shot cannons, which some of our players might be familiar with. And one of the big unique features about it is it's got a built-in plasma slug special, which basically means that it's taking its ammo from your fuel tank. So as long as you've got fuel, you've basically got infinite ammo.
Speaking of fuel, we also have Mk II thrusters, which have an ability that when you boost, it gives you increased maneuverability of your ship. So keeping on that theme of agility and maneuverability, you can boost and fly around very quickly around enemy ships.
So I guess the question that's on everybody's lips, when can they fly the Kestrel Mk II for the first time?
So players will be able to get their hands on the Kestrel Mk II on the 24th of February.
So there you go. That's the very first look at the Kestrel Mk II, which will be available later this month via ARC's Early Access. We can't wait for you to get your hands on it. Something you have had your hands on for a bit longer is System Colonisation. The Trailblazers update launched almost a year ago, and we're really excited to share the latest updates and some new information with you. So let's have a deep dive with Roger. So let's go back to this time last year, where we were just about to release the Trailblazers update. What was the goal behind Trailblazers, and how's it been going for the last year?
So humanity had just survived a devastating war that struck to the core of the bubble. And the natural narrative consequence of that is we stretch out into the stars and try to gain new footholds and new territories to make humanity more robust than ever. The quote that really resonated with me was, we wanted to put the fate of the galaxy back in the hands of the players. This is a non-authored, it's a non-scripted update. It is all about player agency. It's about giving a selection of tools and letting players go out and make the galaxy their own.
So looking back to the launch of Trailblazers, what did we see our players doing, and were there any surprises in there that we weren't expecting?
After the uninhabited portion of the bubble got filled in, we saw expeditions head out towards the center of the galaxy and along the Orion Arm as people built galactic highways to their destinations of choice. The second part of that was small bubbles started to appear where people were building high-density systems to create their own little inhabited bubble, which is largely for production and resources so they could continue their journey even further. We've just hit over 100,000 claimed systems, more than 300,000 constructions built in space, and another 175,000, just over that now, constructions built on planet surfaces. It's 10 times better than I thought it would be. I've got thousands of hours of flight time, and I've spent so much time hauling cargo from one place to another. And the difference that Trailblazers made for me was that little part of my brain that releases happy chemicals for delivering cargo goes into overdrive when I know that I've done something and I've contributed to someone's effort, and it's actually changing the galaxy forever. And I would like to say thank you to all of the other commanders that have participated in this and are truly making the galaxy their own.
So that was our recap on System Colonisation. It's been amazing to see what you've created in the last 12 months, and we can't wait to see what you create in the future. Moving on to our last feature, operations.
So the main thing with operations is that it's a group-based scenario content. So we wanted something for players to be able to play with their friends. And one of the main things is we wanted them to be able to get into it really easily. So as long as they've got access to a port somewhere in the galaxy, they can join up with their friends and they can enter the operations, or they can do them with random people as well if they want to search for a lobby with other people.
We also focus on quite a lot of variety with the operations. There's going to be a lot of on-foot and in-ship content, so you'll be switching between the two in some operations. In others, it will just be focused fully on foot or fully in the ship. Also, speaking of variety, it might be a good idea to arrange your team and people that you're playing with different roles and come prepared for different things for each scenario.
Yeah, so we want this to be a challenge for players, but a challenge that they sort of set for themselves. So there'll be different levels of difficulty between the operations, and there'll be different types of operations at different lengths. So players basically get to pick and choose how they interact with it and what they play with their friends.
So what's on offer for players when they complete operations? What rewards are available?
Yeah, so players that successfully complete an operation, they'll get credits and some other standard rewards, but also upon completing an operation, they will get a new in-game currency that they can spend on modules with unique effects, new engineering blueprints, mods for their on-foot weapons and armor, and a few other things as well.
How will operations fit into the world of Elite Dangerous?
Yeah, so one of the sort of opportunities we realized that we had when we were making operations was to tie it into power play. So obviously, a lot of the operations are sort of like, you are sort of like the instigator of the scenario and stuff. So we've made it so that if you want to do power play in a group with friends, have that bit of an extra challenge, you can do power play versions of these operations, and what will happen is you will choose a power that you want to undermine, and then it will give you locations, like systems that you can do an operation in, and then the operation that you do will take part in there. And then at the end of it, if you're successful, not only will you get merits for it, but you'll also undermine that system as well.
So how many operations can players expect at launch?
So we're going to do a group of operations of the larger scale and another group of the smaller scale. They'll both be coming at launch. And then after launch, obviously, we'll monitor player feedback as we do with all of our new features. And we will be releasing some new operations throughout the year based on that feedback as well.
That's it for this developer log. I'm sure you'll agree that 2026 is looking to be an absolutely stellar year. I'd like to give a big shout out to everybody participating in Distant Worlds 3, which is currently ongoing. Thanks to everyone in the Elite community for making 2025 such a special year. Let's make 2026 even more special. You can keep up to date with all the latest news and updates on our socials. And until then, fly safe, Commanders.